anyone else lying to their kids, pretending like breakfast for dinner is a special thing, but the reality is you just know pancakes will fill their little bellies, and you can afford them. Or is it just me?
Her bill for giving birth and having that baby to go to NICU was $1.5 million.
Kids surviving, trying to raise these kids, trying to do the best you can, and you get $250 a month.
That we are literally killing ourselves to afford and maintain stuff.
2 incomes just isn't enough money anymore. Me and my husband are both in our 30s. We make the most money we've ever made before, and we still struggle between every single paycheck.
Guys, the world's become such a depressing place because tell me why I went to McDonald's and when I ordered my meal and I said, by the way, can you throw in a sweet and sour sauce? They said, that's usually extra.
Here's the real question. If millions of families are going into debt just to eat, what does that say about the true health of the U.S. economy?
We're at this critical stage right now where the normal family can't afford the normal life anymore. I mean, look right here. CNBC is talking about it. They've been talking about it for a while, and there's TikTok video after TikTok video, YouTube video after YouTube video talking about the cost of living constantly going up. We got housing affordability at an all-time high. I mean, you can't afford anything right now. A cardboard box is $200,000 now. And car repossessions just keep going up and up and up and up. We got to talk about this. There are families out there that are really struggling, and they shouldn't be. As one of the richest countries in the world, it should not cost $1 million to have a baby. And we've heard about those videos. I've talked about them here on this channel about a NICU visit can bankrupt you. And that's sad. Let's get right to it.
So the kids' bathroom is right above that. That's their tub. All the kids just got done with their showers, and now the bathroom is leaking into the ceiling. And I don't have anyone to call to just come over and fix it. So I'm gonna have to hire a plumber. It's gonna be a minimum of $1,000. And I don't have the funds for that. I don't have the funds. I have the funds to keep us above water, to put a house above their heads and food in their bellies, and that's about it right now. I'm gonna figure it out though. That
hurts my heart to watch. You know, I can only imagine how scary that can be. I remember when little Jack was little and our gas line went out and I had to learn how to run gas pipe in the middle of the night by 2 a.m. I knew by the time the sun came up, I had to know how to go to Home Depot, get a permit from the building department, completely fix the gas system. I'm talking about the gas, the stove, and the furnace by myself. I learned it on YouTube in the middle of the night, called the inspector, and got it all done because I couldn't get a plumber to show up. It was just one of those situations that I had to panic mode it, and I learned how to do it. It is such a scary feeling to be in a situation where one of the main things of your house is out and you're stuck. I mean, when your lights go out, it's a scary feeling when you got a family. What do you think? Comments down below. Have you been in that situation?
2 incomes just isn't enough money anymore. Me and my husband are both in our 30s. We make the most money we've ever made before, and we still struggled between every single paycheck. We spent hours every single Friday when we would get paid trying to figure out what we could cut back, trying to budget every penny we had so that we would make it to the next paycheck. The grocery store's too expensive, vehicles are too expensive, vacations are too expensive, houses are too expensive. 2 incomes is just not enough anymore in today's world. I have a college degree in physical therapy, and when I got good grades and went to college and did all the right things, it was supposed to solve all those financial problems. That's what everybody told me. It was going to solve all my problems. Well, it didn't, and they lied. And I was sick of struggling between every single paycheck when I was working my ass off, treating more patients than I should be treating. I was overworked, underpaid, and I was sick of it. So I learned a different way to make money. I learned how to make...
You know, it's crazy that a new vehicle now costs as much as a house used to cost. Here in Pensacola, you could find a house that's pretty decent for $50,000, $60,000. This house cost me $67,000 in 2017. Now, a new Tacoma like the one I have would cost cost me about $67,000. It is absolute insanity how much things have gone up, but wages have not gone up. We've seen the cost of housing constantly go up to the point now where we don't know what's going to happen. If it doesn't crash, well, how do they keep going up when wages haven't gone up? People aren't making any more money, but yet the cost of housing keeps going up and they keep printing more money because politicians will be politicians and they will tax us more and more to fill in the gap. It is, I just got an assessment the other day for a fire assessment. And you just can't make some of this stuff up. I want to know your comments down below. What do we do? Listen to this girl right here talk about the cost of McDonald's.
Guys, the world's become such a depressing place because tell me why I went to McDonald's and when I ordered my meal and I said, by the way, can you throw in a sweet and sour sauce? They said, that's usually extra. And I said, oh. And she went, oh, it's okay. You know what? You don't have to pay for this time, but normally we charge you extra for a sweet and sour sauce. And I went, okay, thank you so much. And then I paid for my order. And then she said, right when I paid, she said, do you want a bag to put your food in? And I said, oh, yeah, I need a bag. And she said, oh, okay, well, we charge you extra for that. And I looked at her distraught because I'm like, why do I have to pay extra for a bag to put my food in? That should be a necessity. And she said, oh, well, normally charge you extra, but it's okay, you already paid. You know what, next time, yeah, they're gonna usually charge you for a bag, but you get it for free. And I went, yes, I saved some money. I didn't have to pay for my bag. I got our free sauce on the side. And then I was thinking about it and I was like, it freaking should be free.
I want you to think about what just went on there. What just went on there was a company shrunk what you used to get for free, and they're convincing you that now you should pay for it. You ever been in that situation where you're checking out and somebody, gives you something, somebody that says, oh, that's extra, and you're in a crowd and you feel that peer pressure. It's like, oh, okay, I'll pay for it because you don't feel bad for it. But you're like, wait a minute, that used to be for free. It's like the other day I went to McDonald's to get an ice cream cone. You used to get this dollar, you get a $1 ice cream cone, and it was a pretty cool little ice cream cone. Well, now it's like this big. Same way with getting the water. If you ask for water, they give you a little cup. There's certain things that just infuriate you. And that's what these are. Things that you used to get for free. I got charged a takeout fee. A takeout tip fee for takeout. And then I got charged a carryout fee for the plate, the spoon, the plastic bag, and the wrap and everything. And they said, well, you're taking it out. So it costs more to put it in a plate. And I'm like, well, didn't it used to just come with the plate and everything? And you just put it in the bag and I'd grab it and go. But now, how much is the food? Is the food just the food and we're not talking about the wrappers? Well, maybe I need a breakdown for the wrappers now. Because everything is an extra charge. You go and get a Domino's pizza and they want a tip. And you're picking it up. It's not delivery. I went the other day and got some takeout for some Greek food, and they wanted me to tip. It's not that I don't want to tip. It's how much is the food now? Because shrinkflation has gotten so bad that they've convinced us that you need to pay the same price for a smaller amount of things. And that's what this is. It's shrinkflation. They're convincing us that now you need to pay for those condiments or the napkins or the plates or the bags. Well, if I said, I just want just the hamburger, are you going to give me 2 pieces of bread and a piece of meat and just hand it to me? Like, how do I take it out of the facility? Grocery stores already gotten to where they won't put things in plastic bags anymore. You got to bring your own bag. We're in a very weird state with our world. Things are changing fast. What do you think? Comments down below. Do you tip? Do you expect a bag? Would you get mad if they wanted to charge you for the paper bag your hamburger's in?
Why was my whole day made? Because I saved a little bit of money. I think the bag is like 25 cents and I think the sauce is 50 cents. It should be free.
I'm so fucking unbelievably fucking sorry. What the fuck? I just saw a bill for a lady who just gave birth to her baby who had to go into NICU, which is like when you have a baby and there's like health complications, or if it's preemie or whatever, they take your baby to NICU and they make sure that your baby is all good, right? Her bill for giving birth and having that baby to go to NICU was $1.5 million. $1.5 million to have kids, which is getting pushed on women across the US. They want us to have babies so bad. Oh, the birth rate's down. The birth rate's down. Why the fuck do you think the birth rate's down? I'll give you one guess. It rhymes with $1.5 million. It actually is $1.5 million. It rhymes with itself. But like, be so fucking for real right now. Be so fucking for real right now. The average American family cannot afford a $1.5 million fucking hospital bill to give birth to their child, which they're also going to need money to take care of, by the way. The healthcare system in the US is so up. Like, so I think it's like $3,000 if you call an ambulance for yourself. If you have a medical emergency in which you cannot drive yourself to the hospital, $3,000.
I tell you, I'm with her on this one. I used to think the other way. And after having a child and I saw how much it cost, and then how many people are not having children, especially into their late 30s, 40s, it's pure insanity that in one of the richest places in the world that it costs that much to have a child. Little Jack was like $40,000 to have. That's a car, okay? And no young couple starting out in life should have to worry about having a child. Instead of all these wars we start, I went to one. How about we just pay for some children to be born, okay? And they'll say, well, there's services for that. I don't believe that, for the most part, many people for basic health care should have to worry about taking their child to an emergency room at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning because he's sick. Or that a little child should have to not have a coat or shoes. Like, what are we thinking about? We'll spend trillions of dollars in the sand in a far-off nation over something nobody even knows what it's all about, but yet little children can't go to the hospital and moms can't have their baby. And if you don't have it in the hospital, they'll call the law on you and arrest you, okay? Like, our society has gotten so wild with these things. It just hurts me to think that you could go bankrupt bringing a little baby into this world. As a parent, that is pure insanity. And the fact that politicians can't figure this out is even more insanity. I don't like to be political. I want common sense that maybe we don't spend as much money on wars and figuring out how to destroy stuff. And we think about how to bring little babies into this world, how to take care of our own health before we do all this other crazy stuff. The F-35 doesn't need an upgrade when we got little children that are sick. Especially a little baby. One of my friends, she lives across the street from me, she takes care of these prenatal babies. And she life flights them all over the country. And the stories are purely heartbreaking. Politicians, get your shit together.
To get in an ambulance and go to the hospital. The price of an ER visit? They're not even combined. The average ER visit in the US costs $1,600 to $2,600. That's $1,000 gap. So yeah, I don't know. I could be wrong, but I think it might be the $1.5 million price tag that's making people not want to have babies. That, amongst other things.
You know, she's right on this. And in the next video I'm going to do is why doctors are quitting at an accelerating amount. I've got a few doctor buddies that are quitting because health insurance is so hard to deal with when you're trying to give them care. They dictate the care. The insurance companies do, not the doctor. And then you've got the cost to be a doctor up so high, and the education level is so high, people are just like, I can't do it anymore. And then you throw in the bureaucracy of our society. You get it on both sides. The doctors are getting it, and then the cost to do anything is so astronomical. Not to mention, if you got sick, without health insurance is the #1 way to go bankrupt. Just think, you work your entire life, you get sick, bankrupt. I just can't with this stuff anymore. And it can be fixed. This stuff could be fixed. But politicians don't want it to be fixed, because you know what the #1 lobbyers are in the United States? Insurance companies.
Hey, this is a crash out post. I'm currently crashing out. Sorry in advance. Women, do not get married and have kids unless you plan on and are capable of becoming a single mom. Because 9 times out of 10, 8 times out of 10, I don't know, statistically high, that's probably what's going to happen to you. Now, I love being a mom. I really do. And in fact, I quite enjoy most of the time being a single mom. This shit is not fair. The world is not set up for single moms. You will struggle. I don't care what job you have. I don't care how much you get paid. Especially in this economy right now, okay? The world is not set up for single mothers. It will be fucking hard. It will test you in ways that you didn't know that you could even be tested. You will have to fight for those kids, most likely. You will have to fight for those kids. You will have to wake up every morning and question, just real talk, if motherhood is really something that you want anymore, because these men make it so hard. They make it so hard to be a mom. They take away all of the tender moments of motherhood that you could have had, but you were stuck in survival mode. So you didn't even really get to enjoy it.
Comment down below with what you think about single parents, society today, financial stability. It's got to be hard. Breaks my heart to watch this. And, you know, I don't think it's men as much as I don't think it's women. There are good men and there are good women, and there are many men I know personally that would love to have a family. And life has not given it to them. Some of them can't have children. Same thing with women. Some people can't have children, would love to have a child, would love to have a relationship with somebody to have a child. It's not all anybody. But there are bad people out there, and it can make things very tough, especially with finances hard. I don't know. I thought about it the other day, like, what would I do if I was a single father, if something happened to my wife? It would be very hard, even with an income. Being able to go to two different places or one different place and having to have an income and a job and run a business and do all these things, create content and have a child, like, it's hard enough with two people. With one person, it would be extremely hard. Comment down below with what you think. Is society making it harder? Like, I know it's extremely expensive to have a child now. Then factor in health insurance, daycare. If you don't have daycare, it's really hard to make a living. But our society is forcing everything to get more expensive. I've talked about this at length.
You're just fucking surviving, trying to raise these kids, trying to do the best you can. Then you get $250 a month. What the f***? That is pennies. That is the gas money it is taking me to drop them off at their father's house and pick them back up. $250 a month. And my ex is a nurse. $250 a month. I'm sorry. Oh, I don't even know if I'm going to post this. These men will take everything from you. They will promise you so much. They will promise you so much. And it will feel great at first. It will feel peaceful at first. And for some fucking reason, when you have their child, they will abandon you. They will discard you. Even if they don't cheat, even if they don't do anything significant, they'll emotionally turn away from you to the point where you leave. I left. I can't be in that. It is not what we were promised. It is not what you think it is. I promise you. I promise.
One thing I've learned in life, being married, being in the dating world, is one of the most important things you will ever make a decision on is who you marry, who you have children with, and who you date. And I think we've gotten in this society of will just freely date. And we are starting to see that a broken household is just bad on many fronts. And Napoleon Hill said this: the woman you choose to marry and have a relationship with will be one of the greatest decisions to affect the future of your life. She can either make you whole or destroy you. Same way with a man. He can either make you whole or destroy you. And you got to make these decisions very seriously. And that's where I've gone all the way back to the idea of marriage, two people working together, both financially, spiritually, and a good relationship to allow the children to prosper. Because these double-sided houses, these double-sided homes have gotten to where I'm seeing the outcome now as an older person, and I just see. But our society is set up for these young couples to fail, and it's usually about money. Comment down below. How many families get broken up over money? I mean, that's what almost caused my family to break up. Money. All the things I heard growing up were arguments over money. Comment down below, what do you think?
I saw this video the other day of this girl that was like, I just need somebody else to tell me that they're also living paycheck to paycheck. And I just wanted to talk about that for a minute, because the way that we're living is absurd. And I don't want you guys to feel alone in this ridiculous struggle that lots of us are going through right now. I'm 23 years old. I live in a 1-bedroom apartment with my boyfriend. We split rent right down the middle. I make almost double what minimum wage is. He makes over double what minimum wage is. The only reason we still split rent right down the middle is because his car payment is almost triple what mine is. It's absolutely ridiculous. Insurance payments, utilities, phone bills, all of that kinds of stuff. We've got all of it. We have pets to feed. We don't ever go anywhere or do anything fun. We don't ever buy new clothes. I take that back. I bought that dress for $8 in the sales section at Marshall's the other day. The last new clothes I bought before that were these scrubs that you're looking at right now, clothes to wear to work. And the only reason I bought those is because work reimburses me for them. I'm not going to tell you how much money I owe on my credit card, but I have had to pay rent on my credit card before. Basically, the only way that I can feed my cats is if I buy their food on my credit card and pay it off as best as I can later. My half of rent is almost an entire paycheck for me. We literally had to set up the system where we make 2 rent payments, half at the beginning of the month, half in the middle of the month, or else I would not be able to ever pay rent on time. I could get a second job to be able to make more money, but I'd be sacrificing every ounce of free time that I have left, and along with that, every ounce of happiness that I have left. And I simply can't do that. Like, I'm already losing my mind. Which is why I started posting on here, because lots of people have gained opportunity through TikTok, but I don't have a whole lot of time to sit here and make authentic content and chat with you. The only reason I did today is because
What do you think about where young people are? And the end result of this is young people are going to spend 10, 15 years catching up, paying rent, not be able to save any wealth. They're going to look up, they're 35, 40 years old, with nothing to show for it, no assets, and the upper middle class has left them. The real estate market has left them. We've got to really get a handle on this before there is no middle class. It's gotten to where it is so expensive, and the keeping up with the Joneses is probably another one of our greatest problems. We're in this consumeristic, world where we think we got to have that new shotgun, that new truck, that new boat, those fancy wheels. I mean, my dad's truck was just an old GMC truck that puttered down the road. He drove it my entire life, and sometimes you had to push it off to get going, but he drove that thing everywhere, and it cost him nothing. We never wanted for anything. We had everything we needed, but my dad drove that old truck. My mom had a used car. Now I see fancy cars everywhere. I look at these young people, the cars they're driving, and it's just like, I'm like, how do they afford that? And I do pretty well, and I don't know how they make that car payment that's the equivalent of a house payment every month, and then try to build wealth, and then food and student loans. I don't know how they do it.
Realize that we are literally killing ourselves to afford and maintain stuff. Like when I was growing up, my mama had a minivan, and my daddy had an old hunting truck. Then he had a work truck that he used that didn't even have air conditioning. And they were happy. We ate good, and we went on vacations once or twice a year to Six Flags or wherever, and went hunting and fishing, and we lived life. I remember growing up as a teenager looking through the Chevrolet book that my papa had, and you could have all the options of an extended cab Chevrolet Z71 you could think of. Leather seats, cloth seats, power windows, and a radio and air conditioning. And they were $20,000 trucks. Now, fast forward to our generation, and we're out here buying $35,000, $40,000 side-by-sides with heat and air in them, and pulling them with $100,000
Not
truck.
to mention, I went out and watched some of these side-by-sides the other day, and they're expensive, and you're throwing them in the mud, and you're running them at such high RPMs that they can't last very long. I'm like, that was $100,000 you just rolled off into a mud pit. I haven't quite figured that out. They're fun to ride with, let me tell you. But to take a $40,000 vehicle, pull it with a $100,000 truck and trailer into a mud pit, and then run it at such high RPMs, they'll quit running and get burnt out quick. And I mean, we ruined one a couple years ago in a mud pit. It completely just burned up. I just couldn't do that with $100,000. Throw it in a mud pit. Or with $50,000, throw it in a mud pit. They're cool. What do you think? Comments down below.
And on top of that, your wife's driving a $75,000 SUV, and y'all living in a $500,000 house that's 3,000 square feet, and you got 1 or 2 kids. We out here buying $200 tennis shoes, $100+ blue jeans, shotgun. Don't even get me started on the hunting industry and outdoors. My daddy and my uncle and all them had a flat bottom riveted boat with a 25 horse Johnson on it, or a Yamaha or Mercury, 2-stroke, 2-cylinder that they bumped through the woods. And that's all they hunted out of, and they wore whatever camo they could find in a pump 870 shotgun and the occasional Mossberg. And if you had a little extra money, you bought a Browning, but those were few and far between. Now we got $1,500 Benelli shotguns for everybody who hunts. We're buying $200 duck calls, wearing $1,000 camo. Meanwhile, we got a $15,000 or, low end $7,000 boat motor on a duck boat that costs $15,000. We got $30,000 in a boat, in a hauling trailer, and flashy wheels on the trailer to boot. And what's crazy is half of y'all, me included probably, ain't worth the flip of a duck hunter or a deer hunter. We just got a bunch of stuff to look cool. I think we have gotten so far away from the actual, what it's really about in life that we have tried to maintain this image. Meanwhile, we're out here throwing away all this money. We got nothing to look forward to as far as financial freedom because we're all so far in debt, we're never going to get ahead. But here's the thing you need to think about. Our children. Think about our kids. Think about what we're teaching them and setting them up for.
2 things. 1, you'll never retire doing this, okay? If you've got a debt note on your house that is astronomical, 2 car payments, boat payment, RV payment, credit cards, because all those shotguns are on credit cards, the amount of money you'd have to make to pay for that, which I know a lot of people aren't, you will work the rest of your life. You'll never retire. But if you put that money in a nice interest accruing an account, a brokerage fund, bought stocks, flipped houses, use that money to make money instead of buying shotguns and boats, you could retire young and very wealthy. Like, I've done it, you can do it. But it's all about our want for all these things. I mean, you watch a fishing show and you want all the products, a hunting show, you want all the products, you want, all the different things. And we're putting them on credit cards. And that's why consumer debt is through the roof, like $2 trillion now. I don't know how they're going to fix it at 20% interest. This is a real problem in America. And we're teaching kids that they have to have all these things. They've got to live in that big house. They got to have that fancy truck. And then the amount of money they've got to make to try to do that, they'll work the rest of their life. They'll never build wealth like this. I drove the same 81 GMC truck until I was like 27, 28 years old. Okay, drove across country 4 times. It worked just fine. I got the same 870 shotgun my dad gave me when I was 12 years old. Took it out to the range the other day, shot clays with the best of them. But I didn't have a silver pigeon. I didn't have a $3,000 over and under, but you know what? I made noise with it just like the rest of them. They didn't shoot any more than I did because they weren't any good at it either. It's all you look at this stuff.
A house when my son's 16, the other son is 20. Whenever my 2 boys go and decide to buy their first house, the 20-year-old's in the Navy, so he ain't got to worry about buying nothing right now. But say if they both buy a house in 5 years, 10 years, whatever. Can you imagine what a $500,000 house is going to cost then? Look, at some point, this has got to pop. It really does. I don't really think that we can stand the strain anymore. I mean, I don't know. I'm just a dumb old country boy just thinking out loud.
The math don't math. That $500,000 house is going to be $750 or $800 when he goes to buy the house. That's why I'm saying use your money, buy an asset. That's how you accrue wealth. Because inflation, just by inflation, it's going to get more expensive. But to think about how is this going to fix itself, either you have to have a housing market correction or people have to make more money. I don't think people are just going to make more money without things getting more expensive. It's all a circular argument. I talked about this at length today in a meeting about this. Things are going to get more expensive. Our society is built on debt notes, and people just keep taking out more debt. houses are going to get more expensive, and these kids, the middle class is going to get faded out. And I hate to hear it. I hate to say it. I hate to think about it, because the middle class is America. But politicians have inflated the money to the point where the haves and have-nots are doing like this. And people are sliding down into the lower class. The middle class is disappearing. The ones that got over the hump, they keep getting richer. But if you don't have assets in the future, even more than when I was a kid, you got to have assets in the future or you will get left. You're not going to be able to make enough money to keep up with this machine. And not the way people are spending it. It's shocking.
Here's the real question. If millions of families are going into debt just to eat, what does that say about the true health of the U.S. economy? A new survey shows that about a quarter of Americans are using buy now, pay later apps like Klarna, Affirm, and Afterpay just to buy groceries. We are not talking about sneakers and vacations. We're talking about milk, eggs, and pasta on a payment plan. And that number is climbing fast, which means more and more people literally can't afford food up front anymore. Let's be honest, Wall Street might look fine, but Main Street is starving. Call me crazy, but I would love to live in a society where moms don't have to worry about feeding their children, where dads don't have to work 10 jobs to make sure that Eggos can go in the toaster in the morning. That would be my ideal society, but I know I'm a little crazy. Here's the
debt companies are doing to people. This stuff is insanity, and it accelerates when you don't make the payment. They're like, oh, well, you don't have to make, there's no interest for 30 days. But if you read the fine print, this stuff accelerates at 29-30%. And the next thing you know, that taco that you bought with it, with the debt note, or that food you bought is now 3 times what you started with because you haven't been paying the bill. It is crazy how bad this buy now, pay later stuff is, and it's just a loophole to get around a lot of these credit cards. People have maxed out their credit cards, now they're using Afterpay. Go look at the checkout boxes on a lot of these companies. They've realized that if you can buy now, pay later, that you will check out 40% more. So the retailer on the front end is paying Afterpay to charge you to buy now, pay later, because they're paying the retailer a point or two or a percentage of it because they know that you will check out if you can pay later. It's a circle to get you. And then so you do, and then you pay interest. After you miss that first couple of payments, you're going to pay interest. Go watch my video on that. It is insane how this stuff works, and people haven't figured it out yet. I mean, look at some of these comments. A silent depression where society and the media keep pretending it isn't real or happening. It's happening. And they'll tell you the GDP is we're still growing. No, that the upper class is still growing. The S&P 500 is still growing because they're pumping dollars into it, and they're making all of us poorer because things keep getting more expensive. Some people are blaming it on corporate greed. Dictates every facet of our country. It's both. It's a little of everything. Corporate greed, it's politicians, inflating dollars, endless wars, money thrown in entitlement programs, and in order to keep the system running, they have to keep making money. Go look at how debt is created, and it's our entire fiat system. Crazy. But that's all I got, everybody. That's my thoughts on this video. Comment down below, like and subscribe. And if you're looking to buy real estate on the Gulf Coast of Florida or Alabama or anywhere in the country, I can help you find an agent if you need one, or I can be your agent here on the Gulf Coast. I want to know your thoughts. Comment down below. These are great videos to kind of snapshot what everything is going, the thoughts of what all is going on in our society, and it is nuts. These politicians are getting us. I don't know what to do with it other than to keep talking about it, and maybe they'll fix themselves, because if it wasn't for content creators out here throwing alarm bells on this stuff, they would have never started to fix some of this stuff. But that's all I got. See you guys in the next video.